All right, slide now. Okay, there you go. Okay, so here we go. Don't bag your milk at the grocery store. By doing so, you will contribute to less pollution in the landfills and oceans, and will not require an overhaul of your habits. You might wonder, what difference can one plastic bag or two can make in the world's pollution issues? Let me give you something to consider. The population of the US, estimated by the United States Census Bureau, is 321,418,820 people. Of that number, 247,773,709 are adults. Every year in this country, we use about 100 billion plastic bags, and almost 4 times that if we combine wrappers, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. So if we divide that number of bags per adult in the US, we know that each of us use about 4 bags per year. But to be honest, you and I know that we use more than 4 bags each week. This doesn't seem like much, but reflect on this. Only 5% is recycled. The other 95% in landfills, lakes, rivers, and the ocean. Although 4 bags don't seem like an issue, think again. In the survey I conducted in our class, 75% of us go grocery shopping each week. 100% of us use plastic bags for our items. And 40% admitted to use plastic bags for their milk or other large containers. Put things in perspective. If all of those who took the survey use 1 bag for the milk at least 1 time a year, we will collectively and indirectly kill a whale this year. Last February in Norway, Helen Horton, reporter of the Telegraph of the UK, reported that a whale showed up to the coast dying off. The reason, after an autopsy conducted by scientists, was 30 plastic bags in her stomach. The plastic she couldn't digest caused her to starve to death. We want it or not, we are related to this event one way or another. Our plastic waste is not properly recycled, and the use of plastic is too far intertwined in our everyday life. If we say that we are not accomplices on this tragedy, it will be like me saying that it is my fault if I die from salmonella, when people in charge of the farms and factories have the responsibility to ensure safety and sanitation. Besides the poor whale, there are numerous other species endangered due to the amount of plastic floating and polluting our oceans and land. Birds get tangled, fish get trapped, and many other marine animals also die by eating plastic or getting tangled in it. We get the pollution part, but what about the economic side of it? Yes, there is an economic side effect on consumption of plastic bags. Not only do we pay for the bags when we use through the cost added to the items we purchase, but we also pay through taxes for the recycling process. You might be wondering, what are my options then if I want to contribute to this cost of not using much plastic bags? Without turning this into an infomercial or advertisement for one brand or another, let me give you some suggestions of what you can do. 1, you can reuse some of the plastic bags you already have. That way, you can give more purpose to the bag that in average is used only for 12 minutes and then disposed. 2, use reusable bags. They are more sturdy than plastic bags. They can be used 100 times more, and they look good. 3, use plastic boxes or containers that you can place in your shopping cart and then easily transfer into your car. Some of these options have a card that comes with the kit, giving you more versatility. If you make the change and next time you go to the store for your goods and you ask the cashier not to use as much plastic bags as before, not only you will be polluting less, you will be also saving the life of an animal and saving natural resources. How much natural resources? 2.2 billion pounds of fossil fuel and 3.9 billion gallons of fresh water that are used to produce the 100 billion plastic bags we mentioned before. We don't care if we don't change some of our habits, we will inevitably destroy, misuse, or waste precious resources that in many cases cannot be recovered. This is not about money that we spend to pay for the plastic bags or its recycling process. It's about the life of other species. What would cost more? To pay for a reusable bag that, yes, it costs more than regular bags, or the extinction of a species, or the abuse of natural resources. We can change that. My argument is to start to use less plastic bags. I will not ask you to completely abandon plastic bags, although that will be great, because I know that it will take a great change of habits, and in some cases, government intervention to make it mandatory, as they have in some places around the world. I'm not arguing, which I could have, that many of the bags that we already use could end in the ocean or in the landfills, killing animal life. But if we can, in a small way, pollute less plastic, we could end up saving an endangered species, or saving a whale, or a bird, or an animal, you name it. We will be saving our planet one bag at a time, and without the need to overhaul our habits. So next time, ask the cashier at the grocery store not to bag your milk or any large container. Thank you.
Great job. That was 7 minutes and 11 seconds.
Wow, good job. Whew.
All right, feedback.
That was awesome. I'm like shocked, you know. I knew that it wasn't good for the environment and things like that, but I had no idea to the extent and all the things that go into making plastic and all of that stuff. I was pretty surprised with the research for sure.
Yeah, I thought you had some great numbers, and I loved that you used the survey and turned that into a number for us personally to know that we were all killing a whale.
I was actually surprised myself because, like, whoa. And, you know, it only took, I mean, I don't know if it, but at least when they found this well, this is back in February this year, they opened the well up and see what was in it. And they found 30 bags, plastic bags. That they, I mean, you probably obstructed her intestines,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, yeah, starved to death. So it's pretty bad.
That's terrible. But to turn it to something where it personalizes it like that for us, that's effective. You know, I mean, I care about the wildlife and I care about recycling and I do all of that, but to really look at it that way,
yeah,
that was like, oh wow. I mean,
yeah.
a year, that's huge. So that to me was probably the most effective of all of the arguments. And it was cool that it came from a survey that you did in class. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And then something that I noticed a lot of people didn't do in their persuasive arguments was give alternative ways when they were arguing that people needed to stop something. They didn't give like, well, I don't want you to do this anymore, but these are new behaviors that you could do. And I liked that you did that because in some of the speeches, I was like, well, okay, that's all well and good. And I want to listen to you, but give me do the work for me. Tell me what I should do. I'm an American and I don't want to do the work. And you know, that's like, that's a terrible thing to say, but it's so true. And so if you're going to persuade me, it's more effective if you give me the action.
Don't just talk about the issue, right? Bring the solution.
Right, right.
I really felt like that was a good thing to do. My critique,
Yes.
and I probably should have said this before, I didn't think about it before, but we're supposed to be standing.
Yes. That's
and
right.
I didn't think about that until like almost the end. And then I thought, oh no, he's not standing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my only critique.
Yeah.
I will definitely do that before I turn it in for the grading.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she does like that for sure. You had good, like, I always feel like I say this in some, you know, in all my critiques, but I really like the excitement and the voice fluctuation and stuff like that. And I think that you had good voice fluctuation. And then the story about the whale, I like that you put that in there because it made it more like, you know how they say, like, put in a story that you can really relate to, or that will touch you. You know, and I think you did a great job of that.
That's so sad.
Kind of guilt trip, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop this then. Okay.